Hey, Bulls and Bears, it is the Wednesday evening edition. It is Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. Thank you for being here. So much happening in the markets with the rising prices, cost of living. I had to bring you the update here because there's a lot of big news that I just found just in the past couple hours in my research. And what I do, I don't just search the news, I listen to a ton of interviews and podcasts and get tips and hear news, here and there and pretty much everywhere and try to bring it to you. So if you like what we talk about here, if these updates are helpful to you, please hit that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Let's get into the news right now. Just as predicted, the rising prices just got worse. It just came out. So we had predicted this and we reported that the prices were at a 30-year high, inflation at a 30-year high just recently, just in the past month or two. Latest numbers, highest inflation since 1990. Where does this end? Where does this end? When do prices stop rising? And there's even more ships off the coast of California. We're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes. Things are not easing up. In fact, things are getting worse in many different areas. The supply crunch, the rising prices, the supply demand imbalance, where people are more easily able to now go out and get loans. No credit score required in some cases with some automobile lenders. It's getting even more insane out there, folks, and not sure where this is going to end, but fasten your seatbelts. Let's get into the next story here. And this one is out of CNBC. Inflation has taken away all of the wage gains for workers and then some. So this is another more proof that prices, the cost of living, it's not staying in check or in line with wages. It's still outpacing wages. So not only are people not making enough, they're losing ground because of the cost of living, because of the structure, the monetary structure that pushes prices higher. Real average hourly earnings when accounting for inflation actually decreased 0.5% for the month. A 0.9% inflation increase negated a 0.4% rise in wages. And with all these wonderful economic numbers out there, the unemployment rate's now less than 5%. Yeah, right. We know better. But with all that great news out there, why has consumer confidence been sliding? So with rising wages, consumer confidence is sliding. Why? Because people can see it. Even people that don't study the news, the financial news, they see it at the store, at the car dealership, their monthly rent. A lot of people's reported their insurance bills go up. A lot of people I saw down in comments here on this channel, insurance going up big time for home insurance, automobile insurance, all the costs of medical, health care, the cost of a college education, all going higher. Speaking of college education, let's talk about that next. Mishtalk, recent article, mishtalk.com, over 25% of college degrees have a negative return on investment. So the cost has gotten so high now where 1 in 4 people that get a college education end up not recouping the cost of college in their career. Now, most of you probably know that a lot of people do not make very smart decisions as far as which degree they should get. And just to sum it up, there's a lot of people out there with arts degrees that are flipping burgers, for example. And if you don't believe me, take a look at the chart right here. This gives us the negative return on investment in the goldish color there. And we see at the bottom with the biggest gold line there approaching 70%, visual arts and music. So there's your arts and music degrees, people. Pretty crazy. So I would urge caution. Anyone thinking about going to college maybe think about community college. We've got a college out here in California that's providing a parking lot for homeless students because the homeless situation has gotten so bad that even students can't afford dorms and they have to have separate parking lots now for homeless students. Pretty sad, but that's the direction things are headed, and it's looking like it's only going to get worse because not much, if anything, is being done to reverse this situation, this system, this structure. More on the cost of living, rising utilities, energy bills. Maine residents brace for a power rate hike of over 60%. 60%, right? This is beyond insane. How are people going to keep their head above water with the surge in prices like we're seeing pretty much everywhere? And get ready, because this winter, there's going to be a lot of people. They're going to be paying a lot of money for gas and oil to heat their home. And in some of these really cold states, you're not going to have much of a choice. You're going to have to pay whatever the cost is, because you're not going to live through the winter if you don't have the heat in many of these colder states. Minnesota, Montana, Michigan, everybody up in Canada, brace yourselves. What is going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? We can't just see prices rise forever. People are not making enough. What about people on fixed incomes? Even people that are working, the wages are not keeping up. There's going to have to be something that finally sends this entire situation into a downward spiral. Will there be a bankruptcy surge? I mean, what's going to happen? What is it going to look like? Please let me know what you think down in comments about all this. Next, AP News. U.S. food banks struggle to feed the hungry amid surging prices. So we're seeing still skyrocketing demand at these food banks, and they're handing out food, but the food banks are having trouble because of the rising prices. They're not getting enough donations. They're not getting enough help. The food supply is in big trouble. The farmers in big trouble. You name it, it's in big trouble, it seems like. But wait, this doesn't make sense. They said the unemployment numbers below 5%. That's great news. The economy is recovering. It's a very strong recovery. Why are food banks seeing record demand for people wanting food? Right? This doesn't add up, folks. Another story here. Supply chain crisis gives once invisible shipping industry record profits and new adversaries. All right? Some of these shipping companies, they're not even trying that hard to fix the problem because they're making record profits. Even with these fines and penalties that they're having to pay for not moving these containers, still record profits. Now we'll have to see what happens with the fines and the profits. We'll have to give it more time to play out, but things are not looking like they're being fixed anytime soon. In fact, it just got worse as far as the number of ships off the coast. Take a look at this. This article just came out earlier today. A record 111 container ships are now floating off California's busiest ports, despite the fines and the citations that were threatened against these cargo companies. Now, another report out of LA Times said there's a cargo jam at the LA area begins to ease as hefty fines loom. Well, if it's easing, why is there another record now, 111? Why is there another record in cargo ships? Again, something doesn't add up. Fasten your seatbelts, folks, because things are looking like they're still headed in the wrong direction. Unless you like rising prices and the higher cost of living, hopefully you're making enough on investing and trading in stocks and all that to keep up with this. Hopefully your job's keeping up with it. Otherwise, look out, people. Thanks everybody for being here. Really appreciate it. Stay well, keep stacking, stay safe. Bye for now.